Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you everyone for joining this session today. Okay, so we are very honored today to have our head of Postgraduate Studies, College of Engineering, Associate Prof. Dr. Sheila Belayudam, okay, lecturers, and also the graduating students of College of Engineering UiTM Shah Alam. I'm Habibah binti Zulkifli, penyelaras for promotion and training for postgraduate studies. Let's start our session with Ummul Kitab Al-Fatiha. So on behalf of Postgraduate Study, I would like to welcome everyone for today's sharing session on postgraduate opportunities at the College of Engineering. Today, our head of Postgraduate Study, Dr. Sheila, will share the information on the academic matters of postgraduate programs, like, for example, program offered, duration, fee, process and procedure, and so on. Besides, we also have the invited lecturer, which are the active researcher in College of Engineering to pitch their research project. Okay, so without further ado, I'll pass the session to our postgraduate head of postgraduate studies, Dr. Sheila. Over to you, Dr. Sheila.
All right, thank you, Dr. Habibah. So before that, let me quickly share my slide. Okay, Dr. Bib, boleh nampak slide?
Yes, Dr. Clear.
Okay. All right, so thank you again for the invitation, and a very good morning to Dr. Bib, the chairperson for today. I think Dr. Siti Hamidah is here. She's the penyelaras for Sarjana Penyelidikan. And I think Cik Muhammad Aiman Abu Hassan is also here. He's the AR, Academic Registrar for Postgraduate Studies. And of course, all the other students here. Okay, so this session basically is sharing session with graduating students at the College of Engineering, UiTM. So the very reason why we are actually doing this sharing session is for you to actually have a thought, or at least have an idea of what your next step could be. Okay, so obviously when you are graduating, you have the option of going for a job, okay, or you can actually pursue a postgraduate studies. So of course, the factors that influence you whether to get a job right away or to continue a postgraduate study, it differs among the students. But however, I think we have around 80 who are basically interested in postgraduate studies, and we are here to assist you, to let you know what are the opportunities, which type of program you might want to go for, and if it's okay if you are working while you're doing your postgraduate, so those things as such. Okay, so we also have Dr. Hafiz, who is the coordinator for coursework mix, who have just joined. So basically, if you have any questions in regards to postgraduate, your thoughts of it, or whether you should or you should not, or what are the courses, what are the program that you might be interested and which would be suitable for you, then I hope this session will give you some idea, and it gives you a certain thoughts on what is the way forward lah, basically. Okay, so hence this session is specially made for you. Okay, so for the graduating students of College of Engineering. So just to share with you the latest news of UiTM, basically we have climbed up the ladder tremendously. Okay, so in the QS ranking, basically we are currently ranked 555 from around 650 prior to this. Okay, and for postgraduate studies, there's only one at the College of Engineering. Okay, so we do not have for each of the school. So basically anything related to postgraduate studies in College of Engineering, it is under us, which is the office, and we are currently holding all of the school's program basically. Okay, and we are headed by the PNC, Penolong Naib Chancellor, Prof. Hamida, and postgraduate studies is parked right under the Dekan Academic and International, Prof. Soleh. And I'm currently heading the postgraduate office, and I'm supported by Dr. Malik, who is the coordinator of research. He couldn't make it for this session, but any question related to research, I should be able to answer. And Dr. Hafiz is basically the coordinator for coursework and mixed mode. Okay, so Dr. Habibah just now, who introduced this session, is the penyelaras for promosi and pembangunan pelajar. Dr. Hamida as well is here. She's the penyelaras for Sarjana Penyelidikan. And Dr. Shafiq, basically, he is currently chairing or basically secretarying a Viva session, penyelaras PhD. And we have Dr. Ilma, who is a penyelaras for kerja khusus for civil. Dr. Helmi, okay, so for 704, Dr. Nani, and so on. So Mr. Aiman is also here. Okay, so Mr. Aiman is the penolong pendaftar kanan or assistant registrar academic for postgraduate. Okay, and of course we are supported by the strong team of the administration. Okay, just to give you an idea, how many programs do we have at the College of Engineering? Huge. All right, so we have 20 altogether. So we have research, whereby every pengajian, whether you are civil, mechanical, electrical, chemical, there are courses, research courses on masters and also PhD. Okay, so for each pengajian, we have 2 research program at the master's level and also at the PhD level. And for basically coursework, we have for civil. Okay, civil is having almost the most program for coursework, which is in structure, geotechnical, water resource, environmental, construction, and highway. And mechanical, we have engineering management, which is an executive program. We have robotics, we have manufacturing, and we have aviation for coursework. So the duration, it kind of varies across the pengajian. So I will walk you through once we come to the slide. Electrical, basically we have only one coursework program, telecommunication and information engineering. And we have only one mixed mode program in the whole of college, which is mechanical engineering. Okay, so master science is mechanical engineering. So in general, you have quite a lot of variants or varieties that you can actually choose from out of the 20. Okay, so just to quickly walk you through why postgraduate studies, there are various reasons that people actually opt to go for when they look into postgraduate studies. One, basically, when you want to specialize in a certain area. Okay, so a lot of our students, especially that come in for coursework, basically, they come in for the specialization. For example, for civil, right? Okay, so there are 6 different domains there. So you have structure, and for someone who is interested in geotechnical, for example, you might want to go deep into geotechnical and you want to be a specialist in that, then you take that course. Okay, so that could be one reason. A second reason potentially could be a personal development. So obviously, when you're graduating with 400 of your undergraduate colleagues or your friends, there are 400 undergraduates. But if you go for postgraduate, there is another leverage. Okay, so you have the leverage above the others. So that's the idea. So basically, with undergraduate, we have 400, but a postgraduate will give you the extra leverage of paper qualification. Okay, and then career prospect. Okay, so I did check out the recent job acquirement and so on. and some of them basically actually require for a PhD as well in jobs nowadays. So that extra qualification gives you a wider range or wider scope in regards to the job. Not necessary, but potentially. Okay, so there are some jobs that basically require PhD or master. So it gives you a bigger scope or expanded scope of work that is that you are capable lah of. Okay, higher earning potential. Okay, so career change. All right, so career change is where sometimes, okay, so for example, we get students from FSG quite a lot that actually come into our program, which is environmental engineering. Okay, so sometimes they are graduates of bachelor science, okay, in chemistry, for example. But a tweak in that, okay, so they want to move along the line of engineering, so they join in under master science in environmental engineering. So when you take up a master's, you kind of can actually shape your way towards another path. Okay, so you might not prefer your degree that much, so that is not the scope you're going for. You kind of want to change it a bit, then you can go into taking a specialized area into a certain master subject that you are interested in. Okay, so sometimes that happens. Of course, when we are talking about postgraduate studies, so one thing which is really interesting is where you meet people from all walks of life. Okay, so you get other students which are working student, and I think it's quite a good positive environment because you get the discussion going. Okay, so when you meet a certain different person who is have been working in the construction or in the area for 20-30 years, it gives you a different dimension of the way how do they actually work and what are the criteria required from the industry and so on. So the networking opportunities are there because you'll be meeting students from a different range of age, different walks of life, and so on. Okay, and of course, when we are talking about postgraduate, it is a lot to do with skill. When you did your undergraduate, your cognitive skill dah ada dah. Okay, so you are there, you are good at it, you have attained your cognitive, your technical knowledge. Postgraduate is where you go further in regards to your skill. Okay, so it requires exploration. It requires for you to dive into research, critical thinking, and especially lifelong learning. Okay, so those are the skills that is essentially you would learn. I mean, if I put it in summary, I would say the skill that I hope, or basically we at the postgraduate hope that you would attain and have with it throughout your life will be the lifelong learning skill. If you have that skill, you will not go wrong. Okay, you can have other skill, time management, or you can have communication skill, conflict management skill. But if you could actually attain the lifelong learning, you keep on learning no matter what it happens, it will bring you somewhere. Okay, so there are various reasons, and of course you yourself might have reasons which are not here. Okay, so we get reasons such as the undergraduate CGPA is not that good, okay, and it's just cara menebus balik. Okay, we have students yang mana CGPA might be slightly just lower than 3.0 and they want to top that up. Okay, so it kind of like I want to do better in my postgraduate, and usually they'll do better. Okay, so and it kind of like keep that in a better position. Okay. All right. So should you go for a master's degree now or basically after working or while you are working? Well, there are reasons for you to go right after, and there are reasons for you to actually postpone your master's. It depends. Okay, so there is no one solution for everyone. So it really depends on you, your family's financial or your financial. So just to quickly get you the idea, okay, so sometimes the reason that you need to go for a master's right after your degree, is a leverage against applicants without a master's. Okay, so as I mentioned, you would have 400 of undergraduate, but you do not have that many for a postgraduate, okay, or coursework or research. It doesn't matter. So it is not as many as the undergraduate. Potential of earning higher. Okay, so and sometimes after a long break, it'll be quite difficult to get back into the groove of learning. So this one I would actually agree to that, because in my classes I have students who are matured, many years of working, and they try to come back into learning. It takes slightly harder. Okay, so it is slightly harder because the mind is basically into working, and the way working and studying is quite different. So especially you who are basically from UiTM, you will kind of know how actually examination works, assignment works, the what do you call, the game of it. Okay, so it's easier for you to get from bachelor to a master, because it's just a slight, transition, a little bit of transition for you. But for someone who has been working for 20-30 years, for them to come back, they will need to like readjust their thoughts and so on. Okay. This is especially important if your goal is to do a PhD later. If you plan to be in academics 10, 15, 20 years from now onwards, then a master's is necessary. It depends. If you're a first class student, then it's a different story. So I'll walk you through how there is another pathway if you're a first class student right into a PhD and so on. But anyhow, typically progress is where if you want to go for a PhD, normally a master's is a must, basically. Okay, so unless you're on a fast track program. Okay, so if that is your aim and you plan to be in academics or in research field as so, then a master's is a must. Okay, and of course, if your financial situation permits. So I'll mention so, especially for program, I'll touch later, because there are some programs which are basically moving towards coming up with a new program. I will talk you through later, and financially is pretty different. Okay, so if your financial situation permits now, then I'll just jump and just do it. Okay, so if it's a master's, is 1.5 years, and then you have a master's. Okay, and sometimes this one I've mentioned, if you did not finish with a good grade, is kind of for compensation. Okay, and if you continue right away, it's less headache, less responsibility, less work-related problem that will affect your studies if you're studying full-time. But we do have students previously from UiTM working, and at the same time they are continuing their studies because the time of the classes permits you so and so on. All right, so there are quite a lot of reasons for you to continue masters right away, but what could be the reason that actually kind of deter you at this point of time? Okay, sometimes people do postpone their masters just to make sure that they are heading towards the right program selection. So your work experience could help you figure out what you want to study. So sometimes once you complete your undergraduate, you're not even sure which is the area you are interested in. You're not sure whether you're a structure person or geotechnical person, a water person. You kind of cannot make up your mind. So that might not be really good. Okay, so sometimes while you're working, you can realize that, hey, at the end of the day, I like management. So probably you would choose management and go for masters such as construction engineering, for example. Okay, so the work experience could help you figure out what to study. And sometimes you can save money, okay, and you rely on your own saving when you do your masters later. Okay, so probably a year into your working life, you save up some money and you think, okay, I will go for a further study, which is funded by myself. So independently, that will be very well for you as well. Okay, and initial work experience in a relevant field adds value to your learning experience. Okay, so similarly, basically, if you have any experience prior to that, you can kind of relate your experience with your theoretical classes. Okay, so sometimes it comes hand in hand. So you can relate, okay, the problem at my workplace, and while you're studying, you can see how actually the solution or how actually the theory could be assisting you in your work life. Okay, so that could be some reason for you to actually postpone and continue your study later on. Okay, and these are some of the articles in regards to the income and so on. All right, so I'll provide you the link for all the materials today so that you can have you can actually go browse on it on your own after the session. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have two main programs, different type of programs, which are totally different. Okay, so we have by research and also by coursework mixed mode, two totally different type of program. Okay, so for research, basically we have two different levels of qualification for each pengajian. So we have civil, mechanical, electrical, chemical, some other masters, also PhD. So the idea of research is basically aiming towards you would foresee yourself some as a researcher on or academician. Okay, so a research gives you how to say it actually complements your skill attainment. Okay, so critical thinking. So a research is where you will be embarking on one topic and you will work along that topic independently together with your supervisor. It's similar to your FYP1, FYP2. Okay, so FYP2 lah basically. Okay, so but a larger scope, a deeper search for knowledge. Okay, so that is research program. No courses involved. There's only one compulsory research methodology course which takes you around 3 days, and that's it. Okay, so research program is similar to FYP2. So you work along with your supervisor. And of course, PhD is the highest level and the ultimate degree of all. It is the search for the knowledge and also in provision of the novelty that you can provide. Okay, so research program. And for College of Engineering, we have quite a lot under the research program. At this moment, we have around master's research, around 300 over student, and PhD around 400 over, that totaling total to around 838 research student. Okay, how about the duration? So the duration is subjective in nature, but it could be as short as 1 year. Okay, so meaning to say that research is all about you. If you can actually complete your research and make sure that all milestones are achieved, okay, so you can actually complete within a year and a maximum of 4 years or 8 semesters for masters by research. So that's why when I hold this talk, I would actually encourage, if you have a good final year project, okay, so if you think your final year project is good enough, okay, and talk to your supervisor, can you go a little bit deeper to turn that into a master's? Okay, so if you can turn that into a master's with a little bit of addition, you can actually submit your report in one semester, and the other semester you go for Viva. So you can complete in 1 year, provided your final year project is good. So your supervisor will be able to actually guide you to see how actually you can go deeper and broaden a little bit, just add on to your scope of your study and so on, to make sure that it could be turned into a master's. Okay, and with that you can complete very short time. So sometimes people, a student thinks that final year project undergraduate just finish kat sana. If you make a good one, you can actually turn that into a master's sebenarnya. Okay. And PhD, normally I would advise students who are doing masters currently, they usually have master's project, extend that and do it as short as possible for a PhD. So PhD is around 5 semesters to 14 semesters. Okay. Right. So these are just the academic rules and regulations. So I wouldn't go deep in this. So I'll just quickly mention that for master's research. Okay. So the graduating or graduate on time will be 4 semesters. And another thing that I need to highlight, because some of you might be thinking about working at the same time studying. What if during your study period something happened? Okay, so you might have medical issue maybe, or you have work related issue. Well, you could choose to actually defer the semester at that point, okay, or taking study leave. Okay, so actually for masters, it the way the rule has been set, it is quite, I wouldn't say longer, tapi at least there is room for the students to breathe, because master students are basically working adult with family. So there are certain circumstances that do not allow the student to continue for one semester, for example. So if you can't, there are certain problems at your workplace, then you can actually ambil cuti. So you defer the semester. If it is a reason because of your work, so you can ambil tangguh pengajian, or if it is because of medical, then you can ambil cuti khas. Okay, so these are the privilege given to postgraduate students, just because their context, their situation is slightly different compared to undergraduate students. Okay, so those are being given. And another thing I need to highlight here, okay, if let's say you are undergraduate student and actually your aim is towards a PhD, okay, so your thought memang towards a PhD, cuma probably your current GPA does not allow you to do fast track. So fast track is undergraduate to PhD, provided you have a CGPA of first class. Okay, so meaning to say for UiTM students, more than 3.5 CGPA, final CGPA, you can apply terus for a PhD. But if you do not have, let's say you have a CGPA of 3.00, but your aim ialah for a PhD, then actually you can opt to convert your master's to a PhD. So you masuk as a master's student, but within that period you develop a proposal. Okay, so proposal that is worth a PhD, you present for it within a 12 months lah daripada registration. Then if lulus that presentation, then your study will be converted to a PhD. Okay, so you can convert your master's to a PhD. Okay, so the only requirement that wajib is basically one index publication. Similarly, for a PhD, okay, so the duration is longer, okay, and for a PhD, the deferment, since it's longer, you can actually apply for tangguh pengajian more than that, okay, so 4 times special leave, okay, and yeah, so I think PhD is. Okay, how about the fees? Fees for PhD, more or less, okay, so more or less for a PhD, one semester for local student is around 2,000-ish for a PhD. For a master's, one semester for local student is around 1,500 for a master's by research. Okay, so master's is around 1,500, PhD is around 2,000 per semester. And the requirement, at least 2.75 CGPA for masters, and for PhD you must have a masters in a related field, or undergraduate CGPA of at least 3.5, a first class student. Okay, so this is the one that I've mentioned about fast track program. Okay, so you can actually opt to continue from bachelor's straight into a PhD, provided that you have a CGPA of at least 3.5, okay, or 3.67 from other relevant academic institution. Pass the admission interview, pass the proposal defense, and you should be able to be to be admitted as a PhD. Okay, so this would be a PhD fast track program. The way to apply basically is the same. Okay, so I believe all of you here are basically graduating students. So which means with a CGPA minimum 2.75, you should be able to place your application through ePursuit. I will show you the QR code so that you can actually tap in there. So ePursuit, and just apply for a PhD rather than for a master's if you intend to go for this fast track program. Okay, so once you have placed your application, so usually we will check your application and we will get back to you. Usually you're placed in one WhatsApp group to ease the communication, and we will wait for you to provide us the proposal, the PhD proposal, and set an interview with the ketua pengajian and coordinator bidang for you for them to actually look through your application. So if they pass you through, then you should be admitted as a PhD student. Okay. So these are some of our vivas, okay, that we have done online. Okay, so far I think I'll open the Q&A later on. Okay, so but if you have any question, just drop it in the chat box and I will get back to it once I complete the briefing. Okay, so the first part is basically on research program. The second part is basically on coursework program. Okay, so the difference between research and coursework is very much structured. Okay, so coursework is similar to your undergraduate, where you have courses that you have to take. You go for the test, you submit the assignment, you should be okay. Okay, so and quite a huge range of coursework that we have at the College of Engineering. Okay, so for civil, we have all of those. We have 6 programs. Mechanical, we have 4. Okay, so engineering management, and we have 1-year program. Okay, so these are new program: robotics, manufacturing, and aviation. For electrical, we have 1 program, and for mixed mode, we have 1 program. Okay, so the red ones are basically new programs which are only 1 year in nature. Okay, and just to highlight that for civil engineering, okay, I will walk you through the fees. So the fees varies depending on the pengajian. For civil engineering, the coursework program is it is cost more or less 1 semester is around 2,000 plus, and you can complete your masters within 3 semesters full time, which will give you around 7,000. So to be honest, that is the lowest master's course that you can find, I think, anyway. So anyhow, for civil engineering, they are moving towards developing 1 new program. Okay, so that 1 new program, I would foresee it could be developed in 2 years. Okay, so it might kickstart in around 2 years, and it will be a standalone program. So it will be a Master of Science in Civil Engineering. And while they kickstart the new program, all this old program would be slowly phasing out. Okay, so in future, if you come back to UiTM after 2 to 3 years, you might not see the evidence of the 6 programs. So it will be slowly phased out into only 1 program. And when we are developing new program, the cost is very high. Okay, so we have been requested from KPT to actually place the cost for 1 program for as 18,000. So it's quite high. So currently these programs are running at around 7,000 to complete the whole study, and a new program will cost 18,000. So that's why I strongly highlight or strongly suggest that if you are into civil, if you're taking any intent to take civil in your for your masters, you might as well do it now. And don't wait too long, because once the new program kickstarts, it's pretty expensive. It's 3 times the from the current yuran though. Okay, so it's quite expensive. Okay, so for coursework student, we have around 265. And for mixed mode is around 33. So in total, we have around 298 students. And most of the students are basically working adults. Okay, so we have students as far as Sarawak, we have from Johor, everywhere lah, basically I think most of the states we kind of have students. Okay, so all right, so I will walk you through on the coursework at each pengajian. Okay, so for civil at this moment they have 6, which is parked under the different division. Okay, structure having 1 program, construction having 1 program, water resource 2, and geotechnical 2. Okay, so these are the courses. Okay, so as I've mentioned, in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, there will be kick starting 1 program. Okay, and all these 6 divisions or basically this field will be facing out lah. Okay, so if you're interested in any one of these subject matter and you want to be specialized in it, go for it because the fees is pretty cheap at this moment. Okay, so before it changed to the 3 times more expensive. Right, so for full-time, basically minimum for semesters 3. Okay, so for part-time, minimum semesters 4. The difference between full-time and part-time, the time of lecture is still the same. The only thing is for full-time, you will be taking less subject. So for example, full-time, you might be taking only 3 courses. For full-time, you'll be taking 4 courses. For part-time, you'll be taking 3 courses per semester. So the only difference is basically bilangan credit per semester. So full-time will be lebih, part-time will be kurang. Okay, and for civil ni, the classes will be held on weekdays, Monday to Thursday. If you are doing full-time, your classes will be once every day, Monday to Thursday. If it's part-time, probably Monday to Wednesday, either one day that you're gonna you will not have class. Okay, so it will be conducted after 6. No final exam. All masters are basically final assessment. You would have final test, but not exam. At this moment, we'll be doing 20% face-to-face, 80% ODL. So normally the 20% the lecturers will be probably having it either for the test, for the presentation, assignment presentation, and so on. Okay, so pretty flexible. So that's why we get students coming in from Sarawak in my classes. We have students coming from Penang pun, Johor, and so on. Okay, so these are some of the activities that I've done throughout the master's class. Okay, so I will leave you to check on the core faculty, core program, and also core elective that is being offered for each of the program. Okay, so you have 6 program, and these are some of the elective and some of the subjects that you might be interested in, so you can check on that. The requirement for masters is the same. Okay, CGPA of at least 2.75. Okay, so this is the fees. Okay, so more or less is around 2,000-ish. Okay, so 2,000 also. The difference between full-time and part-time is the number of credits you'll be taking. So of course, full-time you're taking in 3 semesters, part-time in 4 semesters. So the number of credit every semester berbeza. Okay, so full-time could be around 14 per semester, part-time is around 10 per semester. So at the end, you come to more or less the same. Okay, so 2,000 plus, 2,000 or so. Okay, so that's on civil. Okay, so moving on to mechanical. So mechanical, there are several courses different in nature. Okay, so you have engineering management, which is an executive course. You have robotics, manufacturing, and also aviation, which are 1-year course by itself. Okay, so for engineering management, actually the intention of this program is more to working adult with executive background. Okay, so that's why when they place in the entry requirement for bachelor student agak tinggi. Okay, so you need to have at least 3.5 to actually qualify to enter engineering management. So it is this program basically the students are more of working executives lah. Okay, and the nature is more of part-time. It will be from 2 to 4 years, and these classes are basically held over the weekends. Engineering management ni. Okay, so these are the program structure for engineering management. So, and the price is a little bit high. Okay, so it will be for 4 semesters. Okay, and for 4 semester, it will be totaling around 16,000. Okay, so you have around 3,006, 3,006, 4,005, and it will total around 16,000 for engineering management. Okay, and this 3 program, okay, so masters in manufacturing, robotics, and aviation is a brand new program. We started off October last year, and these programs are basically only 1 year in nature. If you start this October, you will finish next October or next end of September. So it's only a 1 year program. And since this new program, basically the fees has been stipulated of minimum of 18,000. Okay, so for manufacturing, basically the requirement are 2.5 with experience. So basically for non-experience will be around 3 and above. Okay, so these are the subject for manufacturing courses. Okay, so material properties. Okay, so and the other electives that we have. I will leave it to you, the slide. Okay, so you can actually go through it, look into any brochure that you are interested to. So get a deep idea on what you actually intend to embark on. Okay, so these are the plan for part-time. And all the courses, okay, all the programs, we have collaborations as well with the other universities and industry. And these are the expert team that we have for manufacturing. Okay, so the cost is around 18,000. Okay, so I did mention just now, any new program that we are coming up, the minimum cost will be 18,000. So this is a new program and the cost is basically around 18,190. Same goes to robotics. Okay, so except that, of course, the specialization is different. So if you are looking into moving with robotics, automation, so you can actually embark on this. And the CGPA as well is 3 to 4. Okay, so for robotics. And okay, so these are the subjects involved for robotics. Mechatronic engineering, so robotics and so on. Okay, and quite a lot of electives that you can actually see here. Okay, so actually something that relates to machine learning. Okay, so control systems, signal processing, and so on. Okay, so similarly, we have the collaborators that actually is supporting this program as well. Okay, and for robotics, the cost is around 18,693 for total cost line. Okay, and aviation. So aviation is quite a popular program. Okay, so it's pretty popular at this point of time. CGPA is as well is similar, around 3 and above. Okay, and these are the courses which really dives into aviation. Okay, so you can see the courses involved basically gets you deeper into understanding or basically going into the specialization of aviation. Similarly, the program is 1 year. Okay, and this course is what you call fees at 22,000. Okay, and the next one basically is mixed mode. Okay, mixed mode is slightly different than the coursework, whereby the nature of research is higher. Okay, so for example, in a normal coursework previously, for example, I give you the example of a civil. You need to complete 40 credit hours for a master's. And out of the 40, 10 credit hours will be master's project. Okay, and it consists of 25%. Okay, so 25% research. Tapi for mixed mode, the research part is basically bigger. So you would have 65% also research and 35% of it coursework. Okay, so for mixed mode, only mechanical engineering is offering mixed mode. Okay, so the other pengajian tak ada mixed mode. So only this one is mixed mode, whereby the component of research is higher than the component of coursework. Okay, so entry requirements similar for with a common masters minimum 2.75. Okay, and full time is 3 semesters. Okay, so you can see that subject tu sikit. Okay, so you can see you only need to take several subject, tak banyak, but your dissertation part is the bigger credit hours. Okay, and mixed mode ni, the classes are held after office hour on weekdays. Okay, similarly, no exam, is just final assessment, classes Monday to Thursday. Similar, 20% face-to-face, 80% ODL. And the cost is around 12,600. Okay, and for electrical, currently we are having one coursework program, telecommunication and information engineering. This course is pretty popular among international students. Okay, so I think every semester we have quite a number of international students actually taking this course, telecommunication and information engineering. Full time is 3 semesters. Okay, and these are the courses under this program. Okay, so data network, digital communications, signal processing, emerging technologies. And for electrical ni, this coursework, the classes are held on weekends. And same entry requirement, 2.75 CGPA for fresh undergraduate. And the fees is low as well. The fees is currently similar to civil program, which is around 7,000 plus a little. Okay, so for the entire program, it will cost around 7,000 plus, a little bit higher than civil, just that because it is 42 credit hours. So around 7,000 plus for the whole program. For electrical as well, they will be coming out with 2 new programs. Okay, so which is engineering education and applied intelligence system engineering. The cost will be around minimum 18,000. So this will be the lower end of the cost for electrical engineering, which is around 7,000 in total. Okay, so I think more or less I'm coming to the end of my sharing session. Okay, so I would invite all of you again to check out our brochure. I'll share the QR code later as well. So go for the slide as well. So go detail on what you intend to know. And the deadline for application. Okay, I presume all of you graduating student with a CGPA more than 2.75, you should be able to apply through the e-pursuit, which is free of charge. Okay, so and the deadline for application will be 31st August 2023. Okay, so this is how you can apply for graduating final semester student through the e-pursuit. Okay, and this would be the QR code. So the link below is basically for other applicants, okay, so which are not graduating students of UiTM and for international students. But since today is about the graduating students of UiTM, so basically this is where you can apply. This QR code should take you to the e-pursuit right away. Okay, and you should be able to apply and without any fees and so on. And for local applicant, actually, if you do not go through e-pursuit, they have to kind of buy the BSN PIN number for 50 ringgit. And for international applicant, it is around 150 ringgit. Okay, so these are just some of the emails that you can actually get in touch with. Okay, so for general admission, if you have any query on the program, if you're unsure of which path you need to take, just get to us. Okay, so for general admission, this will be the email siswazakpk@uitm.edu.my. And I think importantly, I would like to highlight, so we have information given on the website as well as all the brochure, including the slide. This current slide, I've actually placed it in the promotional kit. So you might want to, you might want to scan the QR code here for you to access all the material that I've mentioned today. Okay. And with that, I end the session and I pass to you balik, Dr. Habibah.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Sheila. Okay, for the detailed explanation on the program offered at the College of Engineering. So I really hope the potential student here will take the necessary action to pursue their studies. So with that, I open the Q&A session. Is there any question from the students? You might directly ask Dr. Sheila, or you can place your question in the chat box. Any question?
Any question? I'm quite surprised because usually there will be quite a lot of questions.
Hello, Dr. Sheila. Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to ask a question about, can you give a range of duration when the time for, actually I want to pursue in fast track PhD, and I want to know the range of time such as the interview in when the results for all, which is for master or for a PhD, and the date of registration.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for the question. Okay, so if you place your application now, okay, so if you click on the e-pursue and place your application, usually for a common program, let's say not going for PhD fast track, okay, so let's say you are placing it for masters and so on. So usually I will check on it over a week, okay, so you should be able to get your offer letter, conditional offer letter, within a week. Okay, so later on I will place the offer letter link for you to actually check on your offer. Okay, so you might check on it within a week or so. So if you're a graduating student, you will be receiving conditional offer letter. Okay, and your conditional offer letter is where conditionally you're given the offer, but we will check again with your final CGPA after the release of the result. Okay, so after the release of the result, we will recheck, and once you actually what they call eligible, okay, so with the CGPA more than 2.75, then we will turn your conditional to a full offer letter. Okay, and usually once you have changed your conditional to full offer letter, we'll create a WhatsApp group. We'll get all of you in to assist you on the registration. I would foresee, because the date has not been given by IPSIS, I would foresee you could actually start registration registering as a student by mid of September, because the new semester will start on early October, the first week of October. Normally, the registration for new student, postgrad student, normally it happens around mid of September. So if you have applied for masters or for a PhD, actually, so I will go through your application, and usually on a weekly basis. So within a week or so of your application, you should be able to generate your conditional offer. And after the exam result, we will actually recheck on your CGPA. If it's eligible, we will provide you the full offer. Later on, I'll just place the link for the offer letter so that you can check on it. So within a week. Okay, so that is for a common masters. Okay, for a PhD fast track, because you will need to go for interview and so on. Okay, so for a PhD fast track, same thing. So once you apply it, I will provide you conditional. But once your result is out, so we will place you in another group, which is a PhD fast track, and we will get you to submit the proposal. When the date of exam keluar, at least I can say itu. Cik Aiman, when is the date of the exam would be released?
Kalau ikut update dari pejabat exam, 8 hari bulan 9 result keluar.
8 hari bulan 9 lah. Okay, so let's say 8 hari bulan 9 result keluar. So after that, we will contact the student. Okay, so once we confirm that your CGPA is first class honors and you are eligible, so we'll get you in a group, WhatsApp group juga, and we'll get you to submit the proposal. So for those who intend to masuk untuk Oktober semester ni, you may start preparing your proposal now. If you nampak, you foresee that you should be able to eligible for the fast track. So once your result is okay, we'll get you to submit the proposal. And obviously, your proposal and your interview will be between 8 September until 30th September. So normally around there for PhD fast track. So you can still register within the first week and so on. Sebab PhD fast track, because there is an interview, so it will take slightly longer time than a common masters. Did I answer your question?
Yes, yes. And one more question, because my friend asked me to ask. She want to pursue in master research, but she have a family and she want to do in other cawangan UiTM. Can she pursue in UiTM lain, UiTM Pasir
Boleh.
Gudang for
Boleh.
master research?
Yes, when you fill in the e-pursuit though, if I'm not mistaken, dia ada cawangan kat sana. You just place in cawangan Pasir Gudang, boleh?
Okay, noted. Thank you.
All right, welcome. Any other questions?
Okay, maybe I can take one question from the Google form, Dr. Sheila.
Okay, can.
Okay, so this one is a very famous question, Dr. Sheila. So what are the type of funding or scholarship available for the students?
Okay, untuk postgrad studies, I think the biggest scholarship will be endowment. So endowment funding from the endowment unit. Unit usually is open once a year, if I'm not mistaken, and is highly competitive. Even though the allowance is high, but it's highly competitive, you can try for that. Other than that, for postgraduate, it will be the UPTA. Okay, so UPTA is basically teaching assistant. So you will be hired as a teaching assistant. So that will not give you much. That is at least 1 month is around 600 ringgit. So just for you to assist the lecturers, so you need to be service of your supervising UPTA around 6 hours per week. So masa dia sikit, just a little bit as a pocket money macam tu lah. Other than that, a lot of students basically ambil GRAP MARA tu jugalah. So which is a convertible finance or convertible loan daripada MARA. So you might want to check that because quite a lot of students actually ambil that convertible loan from MARA. Other than that, it goes back to the research grant. It goes back to the funding by each of the supervisor lah. So if you're going for research, you might want to check out at your pengajian lecturer yang ada grant. Selain daripada tu, it goes back to funding daripada the other agencies outside.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Sheila. So we have one question from the chat box. From Anis, if I want to continue the master study but not in Shah Alam for research mode, do we need to find a supervisor by ourselves? If I need to find myself, does it mean we need to find a supervisor after we have the offer letter, or we can start searching from now? This question is quite similar question. Also, I can get from the Google.
Tak dengar Dr. Bib. Okay, basically, what is the process ke? What is the whether supervisor first, offer letter first, and so on?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So for students who are embarking on research program, I would strongly suggest or strongly advise you find a supervisor dulu. Okay, so before you launch before you actually apply for the program, try to get the supervisor, because supervisor plays a huge role in your journey. You need to get comfortable. You need to know your supervisor. Your supervisor is agreeing to your research, or you are agreeing to your supervisor's research, and so on. So for research student, communication is very important, and you need to get a supervisor that you trust in and have a good reputation. Ask around, because currently you are having your friends with you yang pernah buat FYP with a particular supervisor. Try to ask if the supervisor is providing the right advice for the student. So this is where you can actually make a good connection, get to know your supervisor, prospective supervisor. Don't simply jump into, okay, I nak pilih, just pilih je. Tak ada. Do a background check. So get to know the supervisor. Jumpa dulu. So if you're intending to go for a master research, jangan bercuti dulu, jumpa dulu and see what type of proposal or project you want to go on. And what is your intention? You nak habis dalam setahun ke, setahun setengah ke? Talk through and make sure itu aim you want to address that and how it could be achieved. So first thing first, because you are still at the campus or you are still within here range kat sini, go and get to know which supervisor you want to embark on. Jangan bercuti dulu if that is your intention. Okay, so go and talk, jumpa dulu. Once you're comfortable with the supervisor, then place the application. Then you'll be much smoother. Sometimes student place application, tapi baru nak cari supervisor and then tak jumpa, and then the yuran generated, it is so messed up. So do that first. Find a supervisor. If you're intending to study in Pasir Gudang, find a supervisor based kat sana. If you're intending to study in Pulau Pinang, find a supervisor based kat sana. Because you will be there and it's much easier if your supervisor is there, your lab is there, your everything is there. So make sure you find a supervisor based on your locality. Talk to them. I rasa nowadays you don't need to physically meet. Let's say you jauh, you jumpa online pun boleh. And do that first. Then once comfortable, I think one meeting I think is good enough. 1 or 2 meeting, and then if you're okay, then place the application. Because the deadline is 31st August. You have around 2 weeks. So do a little homework. It will actually it will be quite smooth for your study nanti. Okay, Dr. Bib?
Right, thank you, Dr. Sheila. So the next question from Ahmad Lutfi. Thank you. For the coursework program, can it be used to pursue PhD, or is it better to take research if I want to pursue PhD?
It doesn't matter. If you want to go for coursework to do a PhD pun boleh. If you want to go from research to do a PhD pun boleh. The only difference is coursework is structured. If it's 3 semesters, it would mean 3 semesters. So it's structured. You masuk kelas, submit your assignment, do your test, you pass. So research is more subjective in nature. If your research to start off with, you already have a good background, you're deep in it, you're committed, you can complete within 1 year. Kita ada student complete in 1 year. So we can complete in 1 year. But if throughout the study, your commitment kind of got loosened somewhere, ada issue tengah-tengah, it might lengthen your research, and that might take you 2 years, sometimes 3 years. So it depends on the factor. What type of person you are sometimes pun plays a role. If you need someone to push you to finish something, then I think coursework is slightly better. If you think you're highly committed and you think if you set your mind to 1 year and you can do it, okay, then go for research because you are that highly motivated. So it doesn't matter if you go from coursework to pursue a PhD pun boleh. If you go from research to pursue a PhD pun boleh. Tak ada masalah.
So the next question from the Google form. Okay, there are two students asking about the e-pursuit. So the first one, if the student doesn't receive the SMS, can they appeal for the e-pursuit? And another one, the student having problem on the student ID. His student ID does not appear in the record. So
Okay. For students we that could not apply to, Cik Aiman, how can we do Could you probably quickly, could you share the link that we have actually, how do we get it? Ataupun student that could not actually go for the e-pursuit tu, could you place your name and student ID and contact number in the chat box? We'll get back to you. Okay, for students who have not or are not able to enter e-pursuit, could you please type in your name, your current student ID, and your contact number so that we can check for you, and if anything, we get back to you on this dalam chat box too. Okay, so we'll pick up from the chat box nanti.
Dr. Sheila and everyone, sebenarnya IPSIS dah pun try untuk blast kepada semua yang layak 2.75 ke atas start dari minggu lepas. So mungkin student mana yang tak dapat SMS dari IPSIS, SMS berkaitan e-pursuit, boleh try untuk klik link, tengok try untuk masukkan nombor student boleh atau tak. Kalau tak boleh, ya, macam Dr. Sheila cakap, boleh bagi nama and kita akan try untuk ni lah. Try untuk bantu.
Okay. Alright. Thank you, Aiman. Okay, Dr. Bib, next question ada?
next question from Shafiq. How can I pursue in PhD fast track if my CGPA is not first class?
Okay, Shafiq, if your CGPA is not first class, you cannot pursue melalui PhD fast track, but you have other alternative if you are aiming for PhD. Other alternative ialah converting your master's to a PhD. So meaning to say that you join as a master's student, okay, and then within 6 months, you will do your defense research proposal. And within 1 year, you need to apply to us to convert your master's to a PhD. So once you apply to us, we will request your supervisor to nominate panel, and the panel will judge your proposal. If it's PhD worthy, within 1 year from your registration master, so if it's worthy, we will convert you to a PhD. So jalan dia tak adalah terus PhD. So you need to come in as a master, but you can convert it to a PhD within 1 year of your registration. Okay?
Right. The next question is from Google form from Muhammad Darwish from School of Civil Engineering. There are 5 questions in total, but 2 already answered by Dr. Sheila. So another 3 questions. The first one, what facilities and resources does universities offer to support a student in their studies in research in civil engineering? Second question, are there any networking event or industry connection that the university provides to help students connect with the potential employer in the field of civil engineering? The last one is, can you share any testimonial from the past students who have completed the Masters in Civil Engineering program, either full-time or part-time? Which one more worth?
Okay, so for the first one, research facility in civil. So for coursework program, there are no labs involved. So I would foresee the facility will be mainly related to classroom. And for master's classes, usually since it's only 20% face-to-face, normally we'll use the smart classroom and so on. So I think that's about it for coursework. But for research student, basically you need to check with the supervisors. Okay, so what type of lab equipment that is required. So at this moment, when we are talking about teaching and learning, the university is pretty committed in providing basically to ensure that the teaching learning goes well. So far, I don't think that we have any much issue on the lab and so on. So the materials which are being required usually gets passed in the what they call in the meeting. So research facility for research program, yes, you may check with the supervisor involved whether there are facilities on in the ground or basically you need to go elsewhere to borrow and so on. So of course it depends on the area of study. So please, if it's research, check with your supervisor what whether the facilities are we have it here at UiTM. For coursework, no worries, because basically mostly it does not involve lab. Okay. Industry connection, yes. So actually, if you are, since you are not in the group, so basically for postgraduate group, we are quite active with industry connections. There are quite a lot of talks that actually being provided for students, and free webinars and free events as well. So actually we have one event, I think it's around 20 something August, actually conducted by International Society of Automation. So there are events that we actually get and usually we blast among our postgraduate students. So industry connection is there. And testimonial in civil engineering program, well, usually I do ask my students. Okay, so usually at the because I'm teaching postgraduate myself, so usually I'll ask my students first thing, why do they actually embark on a postgrad study? So the very reason they usually mostly give me is basically for the knowledge. They really come in the classes for the knowledge. And I realized that postgrad students, because you want to do it yourself, no one is forcing you for a postgrad study. Usually undergrad, people kind of like, you must have it, but postgrad is where a study you really want it. And hence at this moment I feel I get quite a lot of positive testimonial. And full-time or part-time, I think so far when the students embark on full-time, rarely that they change it to part-time because they know they can carry four courses. Unless if they can't, they drop the courses, one course throughout the semester. But I don't think postgrad is that heavy. Okay, so to be honest, it is as far as the students mentioning to me, they enjoy the classes. Okay, so coming from my own student lah, basically. So they enjoy the classes because that is where they explore, they get to know other colleagues, and you kind of build the relationship from there, the network from there. So that's about it, I think, in regards to testimonial. Part-time or full-time, I don't think it matters that much. It really depends. If you're working, then probably you might want to take less courses. So they're okay with 2 years, 10 credit hours. So yeah, I think that's my answer lah, Dr. Habibah.
Right, thank you, Sheena. Next from Amira Muhammad Rusli. For the coursework master, is it also available at the Cawangan?
Yes, at this moment for coursework, as I can recall, we only have it kat Pulau Pinang. So Pulau Pinang, we have 2 coursework program under civil. One is basically forensic engineering, and one more is construction management, construction business project management, something like that. So for civil, there are 2 of those. One is forensic, one is construction. And for electrical, there is one. So electronic management. So we only have coursework program at Pulau Pinang, 3 coursework program, 2 under civil, 1 under electrical.
Next question from Amal Lufi, same on the finance lah. If the research topic requires some finance, I think Dr. Sheila already answered this one. Okay, we can proceed to another one. Nisha, as a student who want to become a lecturer, does taking a PhD promise to the job or prefer industrial people with title IR title?
Okay. So to be a lecturer, I think with the current understanding that I know, PhD is a must, wajib. But if you have the addition of IR with a PhD, that will give you an extra mileage. So compared to just a PhD holder, because for ESC accreditation, Engineering Accreditation Council, we need to have at least 30% lecturers with IR. So I think the hiring universities nowadays, definitely you must have a PhD, but in addition to a PhD, if you have an IR, that will be a bonus. So I would suggest and I would advise, while you're doing a PhD, you could also apply for IR. And the recent change in the IR requirement do not need you to be attached for 1 year and so on. So check on the latest IR application, whereby it is not as stringent as those days where you need to demonstrate that 1 year attachment in the industry. You can actually use your research to actually complement your application and so on. So it is slightly different. So if you're a research student, you can actually apply your IR at the same time. So just make sure that you understand the new regulation and the new way of applying it.
The next one from Siti Hajar. Ramai student civil engineering, Doctor. This one is focused on the science in structural engineering. So the first question, what are the teaching and research requirements for the students? The next one, can I go an exchange program with a postgraduate degree? What professional development opportunities are available pre-graduation?
Okay, for teaching and apa tu first one? Teaching and research requirement.
Yeah, for the students.
I think if I'm not mistaken, maybe it's UPTA ke? So teaching requirement, you don't need to teach unless you apply for UPTA program tu lah. Okay, so unless you apply for the teaching assistance scheme, then the lecturer or the supervisor might require you to do some teaching, but I don't think you will be teaching. So you might be just assisting in tutoring. That is one case, or you might be assisting in conducting lab. That's another case. I don't think you will be like lecturing tak. That will be the lecturer's job. And research requirement, basically you will need to complete 10 hours of research out of 40. So if you will be taking full time, you will be doing your research at the 3rd semester. Okay, so that will be the first question. The second question, Dr. B?
On the exchange program.
Okay, exchange program. We do have exchange program with, especially yang mana kita ada funding lah. Okay, so SEED Canadian Fund is one of the popular program that usually every semester we send student. So that will be like attachment in Canada, for example, for around half a semester kalau tak silap, or I think 6 months if I'm not mistaken. Another program actually for civil, we have not exchange, actually it's kind of like a dual degree program with University of Stuttgart, whereby the student will be spending 1 year here and also 1 year in Stuttgart, Germany. Cuma there will not be fees. Okay, so the fees will be charged only at UiTM. Cuma the student need to prepare for the daily stipend lah. So if you have the capacity to, um, you know, to be able to spend there for 1 year, then that dual degree program with University of Stuttgart will be of your interest lah. But other than that, we are looking also into engagement dengan Indonesia semua tu. Cuma usually the cost is on the student, and we can try to get a little bit of funding from the college juga lah. Okay, so that is international. Attachment with local Attachment with local, so far we do not. Unless you have, then we can try to work on it from the college. We can assist the student from the college punya perspective lah. The third one is basically progression.
Professional development opportunities.
Professional development opportunities from what point yang ni?
I think prior to graduate, I think
You
on
mean
the training.
attachment ke?
I think on the training provided by postgraduate, right? Professional development.
Kalau training, so as I mentioned earlier, if normally postgraduate, we have quite a lot of events, online webinars that we share among the students. So like yang ada event yang akan datang ni at Zenit Putrajaya is also free of charge. So I think we get quite a lot of people actually coming to us, basically giving up webinars, online webinars where we usually share with students. I think from there you should be able to have that connection with the industry players and so on lah.
Okay. Another question for Amal Lutfi. If I'm from mechanical degree, is my option for master only limited to mechanical master?
No. For engineering, you can opt for any other engineering courses within the College of Engineering. So let's say you are actually mechanical, but you're interested in pursuing in electrical, for example. Okay, so there are things that you have actually nampak electrical you're interested in, then go for it. So actually you can cross. So for example, let's say chemical students, you are interested in environmental program under civil, so you can apply. We can cross there. So within the College of Engineering, you can cross field that you want to go in depth on.
Right. So is there any other question from the students? Ada lagi soalan? I think that's all, Dr. Sheila. Thank you very much, Dr. Sheila.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So the next session is actually the pitching session from the researcher from College of Engineering. We are waiting for the lecturer to join us. Okay. Can we wait for a while? Sekejap.
Meanwhile, Dr. Babe, can we ambil gambar dulu?
Boleh, Doktor? Sure.
So, maybe you can on your camera, the others. Nampak pun semua orang. So, Dr. Babe ambil ke?
Boleh kejap, Doktor. Saya nak unshare this one tapi tak boleh nak unshare. Sekejap.
Okay. So, by the way, for those of you who would like to have like consultation, or if you want to know in detail, just come to our office. Basically, we are at level 9, Menara 1. So it's Tower 1, level 9. It's just left-hand side from the lift. So if you need to meet us, then just drop by.
Doktor tak boleh nak unshare macam mana? Kejap. Saya dah tutup. Saya dah unshare tapi dia still appear kan?
They still appear. If no, Aiman boleh ambil gambar. Can you ke? Boleh ke?
Dia still appear tu doktor, the front page tu.
Tu dah kejap
Dokumen tu. Tadi siapa yang share?
Saya yang share. Kejap
Oh, doktor B.
Saya share. Saya even dari tu pun dia still. Kejap.
Ataupun Dr. B keluar masuk balik ke? That would be... Then kalau you keluar, then you will just close kan?
Okay, saya dah nampak semua. Tak apalah, saya ambil
Okay.
Okay. Ada lagi yang nak buka? So far just 6 je. Students. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay. One more. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Then. So.
Okay, so I've provided in the chat box the offer letter for IPSIS. So you might check out. So if you have applied, I think last week or so, or 2 weeks before or so, you should be able to generate your offer letter, and it is a conditional offer. Okay, so for the full offer, it will be regenerated for you after the result though, after 8 September. Okay, so you should be able to have at least the conditional offer at this moment. By the way, while we're waiting, any other question from the floor? I could quickly just give you an answer if I have the answer. Ada ke yang daripada cawangan lain kat sini? Ke all Shah Alam? Shah Alam lah mostly kan? Okay.
Sekejap ya. So actually the lecturer yang nak pitch tu dia join training juga. Sekejap. Dia ada another training. Sebab kita kan change the date.
So I think for students who are going for research, yang trying to find for supervisor, so first look into your current FYP supervisor. If that is not of your interest, try to check on the website. Okay, so for potential supervisors, talk to your other colleagues, yang current colleagues. So try to see which lecturer is under the area that you're interested in. So I think Google plays a huge role. Okay, so because most lecturers now, we have Google Scholar, at least minimum we have Google Scholar, if no Scopus ID and so on. So from Google Scholar itself, you can see what type of area the supervisor is currently embarking on, because we have publication. So that is how you see your potential supervisor to, the area under study and the potential to actually guide you. So make sure you make a thorough check, get to know from your colleagues and so on about supervisor. It's a huge, it's a short investment of time for long apa tu for your longevity lah, basically for a smooth journey for research. That's very, very important. So the selection of supervisor plays a huge role if you are a research student. Okay, I think Dr. O is already here. So I'll pass the session to you, Dr. Bib.
Hi, Dr. O. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so I would like to pass the session to you, Dr. O.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to explain a bit about my research. Maybe I will share my screen. Okay, for a while. Wait. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, so I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Oh Chai Lian. So I would like, I'm actually a lecturer from School of Civil Engineering. So I would like to share with you a few research items. Okay, maybe you can involve and then we learn together. So this is my first research items. Okay, this is about the so I'm from School of Civil Engineering. So my research will be based on this civil engineering numerical analysis and also the experimental works. So one of these research items will be based on this biotensivity. So we are looking at the optimizations in terms of form finding, how to make sure this structure is under a stable form. If you can see that it looks like a truss type of structures. So it seems like a floating structures in the air. So basically we want to find through the mathematical computational to make sure this structure can be stable itself without failure. And then it has a lot of applications, like for example, applying on this type of roof structure. Okay, and we have also this in the dome structures. Okay, the application of this tensivity also is a worldwide. Okay, so this is in the Japan. Okay, and then they are also looking at the application in for the space structure. Okay, so even in the footbridge or bridge. Okay, but for the bridge type of structure, it may be quite rare at this moment. Okay, but most of the research is still at the numerical analysis. Okay, on the looking at the form, suitable form, and a more advanced research is basically look at the deployment, means that the shape change of this type of structures. So I'm looking actually for master or PhD research students looking for this graduate research assistant, GRA, for this research project, elucidations of the correlation between the deformability and form of dynamic deployment biotensivity. So for those who are fulfilling these requirements, bachelor degree, Okay, you must enter as a full-time master or PhD study and at least CGPA of 3 and willing to learn. You can pass your CV to me. So maybe I would like to extend a bit on this biotechnology so that you are more aware about this project. So just now I talked about the tensegrity. So when this tensegrity structure has been putting in the biology applications, mimicking or inspired by this biology system, so we call that the biotensegrity. So such a principles are also being used or studied in the medication technology or even the robotic. Okay, so these are some of the biotechnology examples. So basically, this research we are looking at the biology system that that we would like to inspire or mimicking to. So let's say, for example, an elbow. Let's say, for example, a foot. So we are going to build, put the tensegrity principle and the biology system together, and then we're going to study on this the performance of these type of structures. So maybe we're looking at the performance of deployability, how this elbow actually move, or the foot kick. Okay, so this is one of the example, like spines. We are looking at how the spine movement, okay, through this research project. So basically, if you're not interested in this type of tensegrity or tensegrity structure, you can also move to this experimental work of my research, like concrete material. So we are looking at the concrete material testing. Okay, basically now my research team is looking at the green concrete material, like application on the self-compacting concrete and also engineered cementitious composites. So these are some of the testing for the fresh properties. And then these are some we have make it like a real application on the reinforced concrete beam. So we are looking at the behavior in the experimental work. And we can furthermore on this in terms of numerical analysis. Okay, these are some of the research activities. Okay, I think that's all from me. Yes, I pass back to you, the chairperson.
Thank you, Dr. O. Any question from the student? Ada soalan, especially civil engineering student? No? Okay. So for the student who would like to join Dr. O team, may contact Dr. O at the given contact details lah. Yeah? Right?
Okay, thank you very
Alright.
much.
Thank you, Dr. O.
Yeah, you can put your CV, send your CV to my email, and also this is my contact number. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Maybe later on, Dr. O boleh share slide ni dengan saya, then I can share with the student.
Boleh.
Alright.
Thank you. Okay.
Alright. Thank you, Dr. O.
To of this.
Alright. So with that, on behalf of Postgraduate Office, I would like to thank everyone, especially our head of Postgraduate Study, Associate Prof. Dr. Sheila, okay, Dr. Hafiz, Mr. Aiman, Dr. Siti Hamidah, and invited lecturer, Dr. O, and of course, our beloved students, okay. So I hope to see you guys as one of the postgraduate students soon, right? So with that, thank you everyone. See you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Beep, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.